Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah. All right. So the first one. Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Come
What?
on,
What do they
guys.
do?
Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 Okay. Anyway.
Alrighty, we are back.
Yeah.
Back with another.
Okay.
Back with another tip.
This is it, y'all.
All right.
The good one. This is a good one.
Mm-hmm. This is tips for restoring a relationship after a fight.
Ooh.
Our first tip, we say LIG it.
LIG, y'all. Let it go.
It go.
Just let it go.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Like avoid dwelling on the past and instead focus on moving forward.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Because it's hard. It's hard if you do not know how to let stuff go, it will be hard. It will be hard
it'll
to
be a stumbling
restore that
block.
relationship
Yeah.
after that fight. So you get in the fight, everybody goes their separate ways to cool down, and then you know what? It's not that big of a deal enough, you know what I'm saying, to harbor this feeling, you know, of I don't even know what was the last thing I said.
Yeah. My bad.
Yes. Oh, I know.
Go ahead.
So yeah. So don't harbor.
Well, hold on to things in the past.
Hold on things to the past. Just it's not worth it. So if you can understand that it's the fight that you just had was not necessarily worth you guys
coming out of pocket with one another.
Right. And I don't want to say hating each other. Just is it feeling resentment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being resentful.
Being resentful towards each other. Oh shoot, my bad.
Look into the camera.
Yeah, so this is what I do when I'm deep in thought and deep in, what I'm saying is I tend to look to the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
I think it's happened so much to not because I'm in a relationship with you, but it's happened a lot to me when people like misunderstand or hold on to stuff that it's like it's not, and that's even more of a deeper issue that you can work on. But when people automatically go to like things in the past, it's like that's a clear sign that you need to work on some stuff, because a lot of times the other person's not even coming at you, it's that you're perceiving it that way, and you automatically those negative thoughts and presumptions come to the forefront of your head, and it's like, no, you don't hear what the other person's saying, or you nitpick and what do they call it? We call it proof text things together to make it what you think it is when it's really not. It's all in your head. One said by PhD Mad Legalized While Advertised. Anyway, that's Keith Murray.
What?
I had to throw that in there because that's what comes to mind.
Did
so
you
anyway,
just say?
I said it's all in your head.
Yes.
Once said by PhD Med. Legal lies while I advertise.
Who said that?
It's Keith Murray. It's a dang bar.
Now.
Nah, because I'm verbally saying and I'm giving credit to the person. It's a bar.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, that was a dope bar, y'all. Anyway,
Bars.
Like I say.
Okay. All right. So that's our first tip. Okay. Second tip. Admit when you're wrong.
Just get it over with.
Just
say I was wrong.
Be man enough or woman enough to just, be like, you know what? I was in the wrong.
And it's not like you're right. It's not agreeing. It's like really like saying I was wrong about it.
Yeah, because sometimes we tend to argue and we just want to argue because,
yeah,
we want to put our stamp on the argument and stuff like that, and and really be in the wrong of it, but we don't care and we just argue, and it's like
argumentative.
Very argumentative, and then
you gotta nip that out.
You gotta nip it in the bud. Yeah.
But just admit it. It makes everything go. It's hard. I ain't gonna say it's easy. It's hard to admit that you were wrong because that's that pride there. That's that people. We prideful people. We're not prideful people. People are prideful. I'm not. Girl, you know, I don't give a funk doctor spot about a lot of stuff.
Me neither.
I do
can
not
admit
care.
that. Yeah, I don't care
I can
either.
give two, you know what's about a lot of stuff, so it
Yeah.
don't bother me or don't
You know what? I want to throw this in here.
go.
At first, when we first got married, I thought maybe we were different people because
Yeah.
of the way that I did things, the way you did things.
It's-
But then it came out, I think we're like the same people.
Yeah,
'Cause
we
before
just
we used to be yin and yang, and now we're just yin and yin.
I don't even agree. I don't know what the yin
Oh,
and
what ain't
yang.
it? What,
It's not that I don't agree with yin and yang, but I don't know what the yang got to do
you
with
know
the
what I'm
yin.
saying?
The
You
yin
brought
yin and
it.
you ain't yanging.
You brought it out of me
What?
because before I used to be this way.
What, seeing the similarities or something?
Yeah,
How
I'm
we're
seeing
so
the
similar?
similarities. Yeah, because like
But different
before I used to
perspectives,
be.
that's it.
Yeah, well, life had gotten me so. Life had taught me how to be uptight
Yeah.
and in that situation, and because I used to be,
You're living that high tensile life.
yeah,
That high tensile strength.
yeah,
That's a metal phrase, y'all. That's like the highest. Anyway, we'll go into that later. But yeah, she was strung.
I was
She was
high.
wound pretty tightly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was. Yeah,
And you needed to loosen up.
yeah, because I allowed you to pretty much loosen me up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what helped.
Yeah. It's just a different perspective
Yeah.
about how to deal with the same thing.
Yeah.
And looking at it and seeing it through the other person's eyes, it just helps. Like, and I can say vice versa, but more often than not, I have to put my hands up and be like, yeah, I helped her relax a lot because I was just like, look, you just chill out. I was stressing so much.
Ooh, no, but then also I finally reached out for help
True.
on my mental illness.
Yeah, that too.
Sis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not a plural.
it is.
Mental health is sis.
No, illnesses.
Sis.
Mental illnesses.
Okay, so look, mental health is like I'm gonna say
Mental
that-
health is
I'm-
being mentally healthy.
No, but
mental
I think
illness is what you're going through.
okay, so like if it's mental health that I believe,
Or you can say mental health issues.
but okay, so but if you say that, if you're putting health in there, then there's a way to cure it, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Not cure it, but to be able to cope with it.
Well,
Because it's going to be around forever.
but how do you let it affect you? That's the question. Like,
But that's not a cure.
is it?
No.
It's not.
It's learning how to cope with it.
So if you do not let, well, that's a mental thing,
Mhm.
right? So if you don't let something
Affect-
bother you or
yeah.
affect you in the same way that you used to,
Yeah.
how is that not part of the cure?
It's not a cure because it's still going to be there. So it's us having that mental strength or that mental capacity to be able to not
Fortitude.
let it affect us, but it can still affect us if it's like
If
having
you
an
allow it.
addiction. Yes, and you're not necessarily like intentionally allowing it
Mm-hmm.
because that illness is so real. You it can just come up,
Mm-hmm.
and then you fall into it.
Yeah. So it's like a trap.
Yes, it's a trap. It's a constant trap. It's going to be there forever.
Right.
So that's why I'm
okay.
saying there's not a cure for it, but there are ways to be able to cope with it so that it doesn't affect you.
I would say
way.
navigate because if you can see a trap coming
Right.
and you know it's like you're
Well, that's-
driving down a
but
road,
see,
you
some
see a pothole,
Yeah.
are you gonna keep
But listen,
or are you gonna
but
you're
then
gonna-
some people don't see that pothole and some people don't see that coming.
how do you get out of it?
Exactly.
So
you
do
got to
you s-
get help.
Right, but you just like there's got to be certain like there's only so many ways something can attack you, or there's only so many angles, right?
Hmm.
Knowing all the angles, you'll be able to see these things coming, right? And then there's also
Well,
taking
that's if you're able
taking
to.
preventive measures as well.
Yeah, but if that's only if you're self-aware.
Right.
Not a lot of people are self-aware of it.
I'm just saying I would say that would be part of the cure, part of curing,
There is
or
no cure.
I disagree. See, example, agree to disagree.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I think there is because like, are you gonna get? Because like, is this thing getting stronger?
Yeah.
this because you're saying that it's evolving and turning into
Yes,
something
because
else.
it's biological. And so
And
the
so it's
older you
circumstantial.
get, the worse it gets. Just like with cancer or anything like that.
But cancer is
It's
curable.
yeah,
I
not
believe it.
always.
It
Not
depends
always.
if you get it
If you
early.
catch it early.
Yeah.
I did not catch it early. Think about it. I was traumatized starting at the age of 7. I'm 42 now. That's 35 years.
I was sorry. I was staring. Just
Yeah,
okay.
that's 35 years of not taking care of it. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, when you have cancer and if you get it right when it's like starting to bud, yeah, of course it can be cured, through chemotherapy and all
I
that
don't believe in
stuff.
chemo. That's why
Okay, well, whatever it
you
is.
can't destroy the body to heal it.
Okay, well, whatever. So you see what I'm saying? Cancer, if you don't get it right away, it will grow and grow and grow, and it'll get worse and worse and worse. It's the same thing with
right, but you can
mental
okay.
illness because it's neurologic. It's
Okay.
neurological. It's a chemical imbalance in your brain.
Uh-huh.
You can't cure that if you don't catch it right away, because you know why? If you catch it right away, it'll still be there.
I think
It's not a cancer that can go away.
well,
You have to figure out how to cope with it.
that's a very good argument. That's a very good stance.
Well, yeah, because
But I would have to say, upon further study,
have you studied it?
what you can do is you can actually because okay, so you're talking about neurological, right?
Uh-huh.
You're talking about the brain, the mental, right?
Yeah.
There's different ways to clear all that up. There is mentally healthy, eating healthy,
Yes.
exercising, right?
Uh-huh.
Even your digestive
Yeah.
system,
Good.
everything's tied together.
Yeah.
How we were created is amazing. Like I believe that there's nothing new under the sun, and I think there's also if you have mental illnesses, there's other ways to heal that. So like fasting for one. Did you know fasting helps reboot your brain and everything, your whole bodily function? Like you can do a 3-day. Like you have to
Yeah,
do
but
the
I've done a
study.
7-day fast
Yeah,
with
but
just water.
but how, did you still have the awareness of what you were dealing with when you did it?
No.
Right. So you not knowing how it's more beneficial to you, you can't really sum up that having that clarity, having that peace about something. You just went right. It's just like going. It's like if you started exercising, right, and you lose a lot of, or if you like lose weight,
Yeah.
right, or some people say do like this juice cleanse or whatever. If you don't eat properly, you're gonna gain all that weight back.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people to kind of like taper into it. You got to work yourself into it so you don't fall exactly back into the same way of eating. It all comes down to the type of food you're eating, what you're eating, being able to fast, and doing other things to help, and still do that. Still do those exercises, still be aware of what you're going through and what you're struggling with, but they're not going to be as prevalent as they were if you do those things. They're just not. And it's actually a fact. All this stuff is tied together with our bodies and
Baji.
what we eat. What did God tell Adam in the garden? I'm gonna summarize it. He said, be careful what you eat. Period. Be careful what you eat. Don't eat that. It will kill you. Literally. So
Yeah.
I mean, like, I have a more of an Eastern way of dealing with things, medicine and stuff like that. I wasn't raised a lot about the
Western. Yeah.
the chemicals, the pharmacopoeia, as they call it, the pharmacopoeia,
Yeah.
pharmaceutical drugs, and all. I mean, like natural foods,
Yeah.
whole foods, not all this processed and manufactured stuff. It's not good for your body. Our body's not meant to absorb that.
Yeah.
We were like hunter gatherers. I'm not saying that we were born from no apes. I totally don't agree with that. That's what you agree with. That's fine. But I'm intelligent design, man, creation, all about
Okay.
that. So anyway. So what was the next thing? Sorry. Kind of went off on that one. That was a pretty hard one though. It's a pretty hard one.
Yeah,
What's
I think
next?
it's just me having to work that out.
Yeah. You have to exhaust every measure to help you get through a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people talk about or deal with the preventive measures of dealing with mental illness.
Right.
And they just like want to treat these momentary things, but everything in between,
Yeah.
it's like, and I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm just saying, like, in a lot of cases, a lot of people are, it's a lot of crazy stuff on in the world. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of past issues that people went through that
Yep.
you just don't know, and that you have dealt with, or why you act a certain way and why you deal with this. I just believe there's an answer to every question out there, and it may not always be in the form of a pill or always talking to a therapist. I think there's just so many different ways of dealing with stuff. You know what I'm saying? That are
Yeah.
reasonable and sound and not extra crazy. Like,
I
don't
mean,
stand
I
on.
will say though, having a therapist or a
Yeah,
psychologist,
absolutely.
and taking meds, unfortunately, like I agree with. I really think it's helpful.
Yeah,
And I'm the type of person that self-medicates and is self-aware, right? Even though I fall into it, it's because, you know what I'm saying, it's the easier route. But I still like I'm not a big, pharmaceutical type person because I tried all the natural things, but because it was so prevalent, the mental illness was so prevalent and it was getting worse and worse, I needed something stronger. And I mean, unfortunately or fortunately, you know,
I just
created these medicines, and if you get the right medicines, then it will help.
I agree.
Um,
I
yeah,
agree, but I don't think it's the end. I think
end
it's
all be
like
all. No, it's
not being
not.
dependent on that, being able to do other things to
Yeah,
help mitigate all that stuff.
yeah,
I think it's out there.
yeah.
And I think that's part of the journey is searching those things out, finding out, like I was mentioning, fasting.
Mhm.
And it could be a combination of fasting and herbal. So that's what I think,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. True.
doctors should study both forms of medicine.
Yes,
You know what I'm
yes,
saying? Be like, put you on this. We're gonna get you started with this since you're
yes,
dealing with this, and then taper off,
yes,
because it's I
yes.
think that's really taking care of you all overall,
I agree. I completely
not just
agree.
like this
So
is it.
that's why I'm saying that's why I want to say
Take this
is
pill.
right, but that's why I want to say is combining. Like if there's a way which therapists and psychologists actually they go about the holistic approach even though there
Some.
are yeah some so you have to find
It's
that
the
right one.
conventional one. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's conventional and holistic all at the same. It just I mean, I think it just has to be. It just has to be that
Or
way.
it should
And
be.
it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it should be that way. But this is just coming, based off experience. So anyways,
Yes.
so okay. So our next tip
Go ahead.
is put yourself
Another
in the
person's shoe.
other person's shoes.
Yeah. You got to. You gotta put, because it's like, and that's one of the things that we mentioned was the other person's perspective. Like, you gotta kind of see yourself in the other person's, where that other person's coming from, so you can
Mhm.
actually relate and know, like, hey, probably shouldn't have, don't know what this person's dealing with, don't know what's going on. So when you do, if you pick up on what you do know about the other person, just add that to the, like, man, she was really dealing with this, and that's probably why this happened, and that's why she's dealing with it. Didn't give that person that much grace, or didn't really see it from that person's point of view or perspective.
Yeah.
You got to do that.
Yeah.
It just helps. It helps after a relationship, or
Yeah.
after a argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a relationship.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That does help a lot.
Hot peas and butter. Hot peas and butter.
Okay. All right. So so it's kind of expounding because we did add a couple of tips underneath that,
What
which
else?
is
What do we say?
switch your perspective, vice versa scenario,
Yeah.
and see where the other person is coming from. Express empathy and understanding.
Yeah.
So you pretty much
Gotcha.
touched on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then
The last
the
one.
last one is
Favorite one, which leads to other things. Don't have to say it. We don't have to say it.
we said
Hug
hug
it
it
out.
out,
Yeah.
suss it out.
What? I said we don't have to.
Sheboyingans.
You really spelled it out, didn't you, Sheboygan? Stop. No. Everybody knows that
Yo,
is the
we're married.
there is the
And we're
ultimate.
talking to married couples. We're
Right.
talking to
All right.
couples in relationships. Okay.
That's the best way to deal with it, honestly. One of the best way. It doesn't heal all things, but
Shoot, it'll get that aggression out.
yeah, it will.
For sure.
Yeah, it will. Yeah. So if you can if you can
So on that note,
get to that, wow. If you can get to that frame of mind after having an argument, it's always good. Yeah.
yeah.
To have that to just kind of like solidify. And I
Yeah.
think it represents. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a scientific, blah 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 way how it helps bring things back together.
Yeah.
And I think it can be the opposite too. Like, yeah, you think it's all good because that's what you do all the time after you guys have an argument. It doesn't really necessarily mean that it's over.
Right.
So there's a good and bad. You just gotta make sure you're good. Maybe wait a couple of days and let it really build up.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, that's not that big of a deal. Everybody use with discretion.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And-
yes. So that tip is to you. Yeah. You
Use that with
your
discretion.
discretion.
Yes, please.
But I would say, after doing all the other tips, then, you know what I'm saying, the fifth tip or the
last
last
one.
tip, would just, like you said, solidify
Yeah.
or
Yeah, bring it around. Bring
Yeah.
it full circle.
bring it full circle.
Yeah.
And that way, you know what I'm saying, it's meaningful.
Yeah,
You know what
absolutely.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Who wouldn't want to express all that tension and pour the passion back into the relationship? I mean,
bow
Pat-
chicka wow
what?
wow.
That is like, we're so that is so old, man. I think it's so cringy and creepy when people do that.
All right, I'm old.
Like, no,
I'm
I'm
cringy.
just saying, be
All right,
clever.
right.
Be clever with it.
Okay.
Yeah, be sneaky with
Okay.
it. Okay. But anyway, I think the passion, who wouldn't want to pour out their passion on their partner in a more complete and loving way after having argument and stuff. So that's all.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah.
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 That's good.
Yeah. You like that?
Some good stuff.
You like that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So-
Well, that's it.
That clapping is not good. The clapping is not gonna work. That's not good. What are you talking
Because it's the sound. You're clapping in front of the mic.
It's called sound effect.
Is that a cut? Is that how we're ending it on a clap?
Yeah.
So we're ending the episode just like on a clap.